Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod. I'm here to talk about Survivor Season 45, Episode 5, titled I Don't Want to Be the Worm. Last week on Survivor, we had our first tribe swap of the new era. Sean orchestrated his own quit on Red Reba. Dee voted for Sifu at Tribal Council, and Sifu was pissed. Before I dive in, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and if you're new to my channel, I put all my videos in playlists on my channel. There's also a link in the subject of the video to the Survivor 45 playlist. So let's dive into it. The Red Rebas come back at night from Tribal Council, and tensions are high. Sifu is still pissed and he wants to find out who wrote his name down. The ladies, J Maya, Dee, and Julie all claim it wasn't them. They know it wasn't Sean because Sean said he didn't do it on the way out, and Sifu says he's going to do some reconnaissance and figure this out. At Blue Bellow, they're having a tough day because they're tired and hungry. Kendra finds a worm, contemplates eating it, then she decides to eat it, puts it in her mouth, and instantly throws it up into her hand. She throws the worm into the woods. Did anyone else who watched this feel great sympathy for the worm? Can we get an update on the worm on the official Survivor podcast, Jeff? Then there's an extended montage of Kendra burping, and it seems like Kendra is making them laugh and being a really positive presence at camp. On Yellow Lulu, Jake is playing his tummy like an instrument, and if this is the extra content you're going to give us, we can just go back to 60 minutes. Bruce tells Jake to move his lazy fat ass, which is kind of rude, and then Jake falls forward and starts convulsing, which is really scary. Kelly, who's a nurse, helps him out. Jake opens up about his personal life and losing a ton of weight before coming on Survivor, and he gets a flashback moment, which is nice. A lot of people don't like these flashbacks, but I like them, and I actually wish Sean got one last week. Katora starts looking for an idol when she's home alone at camp. They all catch her looking for the idol. Kelly calls Katora a hot mess. Caleb ends up telling Katora that they saw her looking for the idol, and he wants to win her trust. He starts building one-on-one relationships with everyone on the tribe, except for Kelly. Finally, to win Kelly over, Caleb tells Kelly that Sabaya had the idol from that tribe. After this being shown, it really seems to me like Kelly's going to find that idol. Over at Red Reba, the girls unite against Sifu in the shelter and resent Sean for saying what he said. Dee gets a flashback moment talking about how her parents were immigrants and because of that she'll never quit the game. At least we know we have one confirmed non-quitter. Sifu says he's like a dormant volcano that's been activated. He shows us his fake idol that he's been making and tells the ladies about it. They scored this whole Sifu scene with the most silly circus music, so we'll see if this ends up being serious. He ends up threatening J Maya with a metaphor, and J Maya is not intimidated. Over at Blue Bellow, Brando expresses that he's not really close to Kendra even though they're from the same tribe, which surprised me because I thought they did have a little bit of a bond. Brando and Drew bond over love of Pokemon, and I love this, but I also love Pokemon. They and Emily talk about forming a nerd alliance, but Drew says that the nerd alliance is garbage and he rejects the idea. Maybe this is just Big Brother, but isn't there a big taboo against saying no to alliances? If someone asks you, you should probably say yes, or at least maybe. So after being rejected by his Pokemon friend Drew, Brando goes back to being aligned with Kendra, and we get back to Emily being in the middle of these two alliances. Back at Lulu, Bruce is being himself, so naturally Katora is about to be upset. He's bothering her at camp. She recommends skipping eating papaya. Bruce says that Katora's idea is dumb, and as a viewer, I was like, ooh. Honestly, they do a really good job of showing how annoying Bruce actually is, and Caleb is starting to see it now. Caleb says that when he comes for Bruce, Bruce will not see it coming. Back at Reba, J Maya's plan is to own up for voting for Sifu at Tribal, even though she didn't do it, so he doesn't play his idol. The whole plan that she came up with doesn't really make any sense. Dee says she has another plan just to vote for J Maya instead. Julie is shook by this, but she's not that mad. We get to the immunity challenge, and on first impression, I thought that Red was really going to suck at this. The tribes have to climb through some obstacles to collect some bags. Then in the bags, they have to look for a key to unlock sandbags and hit targets. They each have to knock down one target. They're also playing for a reward. The first place tribe gets some big ass fish. The second place tribe gets some little ass fish. They decide that Emily and Kelly sit out of this challenge, and off the bat, Red Reba tribe bodies the first part of this challenge with excellent teamwork, especially J Maya, who is the queen of untying knots. Red ends up coming in first in this challenge, which is an awesome moment, and Yellow came in second and win the little ass fish. So the Blue Bellow tribe are the losers, sorry for them. Reba have to decide 3 people to get to go on a journey. They pick J Maya, Kelly, and Austin to go on the journey. At Blue Bellow, while Austin is away, they start scrambling. Kendra says, I don't want to be the worm, but Drew's the worm, and Kendra said the thing. Brando goes to Drew and offers Drew his shot in the dark if he keeps Brando instead of Kendra. Drew refuses this again and says there's no need to give me your shot in the dark. Drew doesn't like that Brando threw Kendra under the bus. They kind of musical chairs around about what the plan is or isn't, and Emily repeatedly calls Brando Brendo, but then she figures out his real name eventually. Kendra is pissed that her name is out there. She hisses like a cat repeatedly, then says, I need a mantra. Wait, I remember I have a mantra. It's whatever, man. On the journey, they'll have to make a decision after hiking to the peak of a mountain. Their options are to eat a sandwich or to get an amulet that only works if they're all played together. The amulets get more powerful the longer that they last in the game, and they all have to be played together. Austin, who already has a ton of advantages and doesn't need this crappy amulet, just wants to have the sandwich. Maya, who's in a not so great place in the game and really needs an advantage that isn't the amulet, wants the amulet and eventually convinces them to take the amulets, even though Austin thinks it's stupid because they're never going to agree on what to do with the amulets, and now he's dead set on getting them out and turning the amulet into a real idol. Back at Bello, Emily directly confronts Drew about some of the he said she said around camp. Austin comes back and tells Drew about his new advantage. Drew tells Austin that everyone is coming for him and they have to decide if they're going to trust Emily or use all of their advantages to save themselves. Austin shows his amulet to Emily to gain her trust. They are really showing Emily a lot of their advantages, which I really don't think is a good idea, but just gonna go with my mantra, whatever, man. So Bello Tribe goes to Tribal Council in probably the most interesting setup Tribal Council of the season so far. At Tribal, this is a very honest conversation where they're all selling their value to Jeff and the tribe. Drew says that there's a multi-tribe onslaught coming and that they need to prepare for that and not focus on tribe strength. Emily says she's running her strategy based on stocks. When they go to vote, Austin decides to sacrifice his vote to extend his idol, but then he plays the goodwill advantage to restore his vote back. Jeff reads the votes, and it's 3 votes for Brando and 2 for Drew, which means Brando, the tribe, has spoken. So we do have to say goodbye to Brando just short of the merge as the last pre-merge boot, and that seems like unfortunate bad luck because there were a lot of people in the game where he could have reconnected with, especially Kelly, who was his best friend in the game. You know that Kelly is not going to be happy about this. Overall, it was a short story. We didn't get to hear much about Brando's backstory. I feel like the best moment from Brando was in the premiere episode with the log challenge, really overcoming that tough challenge, and it was really fun to see. I see him really positively. I really love the Pokemon talk this week. It was fun seeing him try on the buff as a bra. I could see him as a lock for returning for maybe an early boot season if that ever happened. But overall, I'm not sure if Survivor is the show I would really cast him on. He seems like more of a good pick for a Big Brother season. But overall, there's not too much to talk about. It seems like he was a good player that just ended up in a really unlucky position in the game. So with that, super excited. Next week, we're getting the merge. I'm really excited. I feel like Drew's right. We're in for a multi-tribe collision that's about to happen. There are a lot of advantages out there, and Austin has the idol I think he has to play. So don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Until then, if you like Big Brother, I'll be back tomorrow talking about that. But if not, have a nice weekend. Bye.